Remove the panel. Remove the rivets. Press down on the center of the rivet to unlock it. Next, pry up on the base of the fastener to remove it.
Now that we have all the rivets out, what we're going to look for is, you can see there's like a trim piece right here and here. Now if we follow this trim piece all the way back, it's kind of connected to this other panel by this little fastener right here. So what you want to do is just kind of pry out this little fastener before you remove this panel. So we'll do that, and then we're just going to do the same thing here on the opposite side.
Lift the panel to remove it. Remove the bolts by turning them counterclockwise.
At this point too, if you look right here and right here, we're kind of on the passenger side here a little bit. These are two connectors. Now, you're gonna want to disconnect these, so push the tab and pull these connectors off here. So you got one right there, and then there's another one right here. Those are attached to the bumper, so we need to pull those off.
Turn the wheel to give yourself better access to the lining.
So now what we're looking for, we want to come inside the wheel well liner, and if we look, there's kind of these two little like indents here on the wheel well liner. And if we look kind of facing this way and this way, there's these little fasteners here, and we're going to have to take these out. So
Pry up the center of the rivet first. This will unlock it. Next, pry up the base of the fastener.
There is still one more rivet that needs to be removed.
now that we have the two little fasteners and the fastener out up here, we're going to remove this piece of trim that's on the outside edge. Now, you want to kind of start at the bottom, wiggle and pull here. If you need a plastic panel puller, you can use that as well. But basically, we want to get the trim off here, and we want to get it off basically just up to where the bumper connects here, okay?
Pry up the center of the rivet first. This will unlock it. Next, pry up the base of the fastener.
Turn the wheel to give yourself better access to the lining.
Remove the rivets. Pry up the center of the rivet first. This will unlock it. Next, pry up the base of the fastener.
Remove the last rivet.
So now we're going to remove the piece of trim here. Again, we want to start at the bottom. You can grab, wiggle, or pull, or get yourself a little panel puller here, whatever you think is the best. But this guy should come off relatively easy there.
Pry up the center of the rivet first. This will unlock it. Next, pry up the base of the fastener.
So now that we have the bolts and fasteners on the top and in the wheel well and whatnot out, we're going to come underneath the car and kind of all along the front here. There's going to be a few 10mm bolts we need to take out here.
Remove the bolts by turning them counterclockwise.
So now that we have all the bolts and fasteners and stuff off of the bumper, we're going to come to one side or the other here. Doesn't matter which one first, and we're just going to grab, wiggle, and pull. And then that's going to kind of disengage there. We can just kind of leave that. Now we're going to go do the same thing here on the opposite side. So now we have the sides disengaged, everything's out. We're going to be able to take this bumper off now. I would kind of just start at one side. You're going to have to kind of pull back on the front, as well as it's kind of connected still a little bit underneath these housings. So just kind of come to one side. You can see that kind of just popped right out. Also, we did put a rug down here, so we have somewhere to set this without scratching the paint. We're going to do the same thing here on the opposite side. Be careful, because this is probably going to want to fall down then right away. So just be careful there. And then that will come down. Then we're going to have to come over here on the driver's side. There's a couple of connectors that we're going to need to remove over here. These are the connectors that are connected to the bumper. Push the tab here and pull. And then same thing on this one, tabs on the other side, push the tab, pull the connector. And then once we have those connectors off, we can get this guy out of the way here. Now we're going to bring the bumper back up. Now, first thing we're going to do, and I want to point out, is there's a panel underneath the car. The bumper is going to sit kind of up on that. There's these little kind of sections that kind of poke out. So just keep that in mind when we're bringing this up. So what I would do is kind of get this in place, get it where the under part can kind of get to where it needs to be. And then before we bring it up, we are going to come over here and reconnect those connectors. Now, we're going to bring this back up. When you bring this back up, also keep in mind that the trim is still on here. So just be mindful of that, because it can kind of get caught up on that trim. So we'll bring this up here. Okay, now at this point, the bumper is up, but be careful because there's no bolts and we don't want it to fall. We're going to go now and just push the sides back in, and that should kind of secure this and then allow us to get the bolts and stuff back in here. So now we're going to come to one side or the other and just get this up into position here. And then just tap. You do kind of want to tap on the front here as well and just kind of make sure that that's in there. Then we'll go do the same thing here on the opposite side.
Align the base of the rivet first. Next, push down on the center to lock it in place.
And then we just want to replace the trim. We're just looking to line up these tabs and kind of push this back in. Now, there is a small little section here on the bottom that should kind of just line up, but just keep it in mind. We're just going to kind of push here till all those click back in.
Align the base of the rivet first. Next, push down on the center to lock it in place.
Replace the remaining rivets. Make sure the assembly is tight and secure. Turn the wheel to give yourself better access to the lining.
Align the base of the rivet first. Next, push down on the center to lock it in place. Align the trim and secure it to the vehicle. Align the base of the rivet first. Next, push down on the center to lock it in place.
Replace the remaining rivets. Make sure the assembly is tight and secure.
Replace the bolts by turning them clockwise.
Make sure the assembly is tight and secure.
So now we're going to come to the top, put these bolts back in here. You may need to kind of push on this and then put the bolts back in.
Replace the bolts by turning them clockwise.
Then we're just going to come and reconnect those connectors that we had disconnected over here. Just push them back in.
Align the panel with the body before securing it to the vehicle. It's important to make sure it's set properly, otherwise it won't attach correctly.
And then once we have the panel in place, we're going to come where that trim is. And there's those little sections that we kind of popped out here. You just want to push these back in, okay? There's a little tab there.
Replace the rivets. Pull out the center of the rivet first. Then, insert the base of the rivet into position. Finally, push down on the center of the rivet to lock it in place.
Make sure the assembly is tight and secure.